Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. Today let's do a 9.8 comic book market update video. I got 18 completed sales in the 9.8 to go through. All of them are from eBay. And you know, the 9.8 comic book market right now is a bit of a mixed bag. Some of the high quality key issues are absolutely showing a lot of strength, like even in the short term. But there are some kind of secondary key issues I would say are languishing a little bit, and yeah, we'll get into a few examples on the video. So first one is Edge of SpiderVerse #2 in a CGC 9.8, big first appearance of Spider-Gwen. This one just getting really hot in the last month with those kind of Across the Spider-Verse trailers dropping. And funny, on this one, about 2 months ago, I made kind of a cooling down video of some 9.8s that were looking pretty great as ones to buy on the cooldown. And a few Edge of SpiderVerse #2s during that period had went just under $1,000 in the 9.8 in a few auctions. And one, you know, a few were selling for kind of $1,000, $1,100. But a few recent sales: Edge of SpiderVerse #2 9.8, $1,874 and $1,950. So absolutely, I think I was right by kind of thinking that, you know, you probably want to get in there on Edge of SpiderVerse 2 a few months ago in a 9.8. We'll see how this one goes moving forward. It's going to be a hot book for like the next year or two with 2 Across the Spider-Verse movies coming. So maybe this one will sail over 2,000. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. Next one's Star Wars Clone Wars #1, first appearance of Ahsoka Tano. Such, you know, a huge Star Wars book, a hot one, but, you know, probably still some more upside if you can get it for a pretty solid fair price. I would say pretty solid fair price right now is $2,800 in this first printing. Really expensive one, but the Ahsoka Tano show is coming, or Ahsoka is coming. Right around $2,800. A little bit of a pullback from like virus era highs. This one was admittedly over $3,000, and even at that time, like I recommended back then, like, this is a really hot one. You want to just be a little bit patient on this one. Getting under $3,000 though, looking like a little bit of a better value if you're a big Ahsoka Tano fan. Maybe you aim a little closer to $2,500 right now would be a pretty solid fair value on this one. And you know that Ahsoka show's coming, so maybe this one will heat up moving forward as well. Next one's a cool one, a Batman 655, a cool affordable one. It's first cameo appearance of Damian, and a really cool Andy Kubert cover as well. I got 2 of these in the raw copy. I've been sort of, you know, wanting this one as a big Batman fan in a 9.8, but I'll probably just settle with the raw copies. It's not like a super tough 9.8, and I actually have 2 Batman 666s, which I kind of like better, when Damian becomes Batman and his first appearance of Professor Pig, so a decent villain in that one. But this one is pretty great for the price. I saw one sell for $170 in an auction for a Batman 655. Yeah, cool Andy Kubert cover with the kind of the red tone cover. This is the not the variant for this one. Going for $170, I think that's pretty much a price target to aim for. Maybe you get it closer to $150 if you're super lucky. Next one's a kind of a great cooling down one, a Spectacular Spider-Man #64, first appearance of Cloak and Dagger. This is a cool, you know, pretty solid, huge key issue, to be honest, that you can get in a 9.8 for a fair price right now. This one's selling in an auction for $711. I think that's pretty much a price target to aim for on this one. You know, they had that like Cloak and Dagger show. It was quite a long time ago. I don't even know. Maybe that was I didn't watch it, or maybe that was just rumors. But during that time, this one was a lot hotter. Certainly, I remember even when the virus era was really heating up all the comic books, this one kind of stayed pretty cold, around $400 to $500 during that time. But I think now it's just one of those great collector items in a 9.8 with a big first appearance, and it's slowly but surely kind of steadily rising in value from that kind of $400 to $500 area. I would say they were going for in the last year or two. $711, a decent price target to aim for on that one. Yeah, I think a good value on a Spectacular Spider-Man 64 right now. So the next one is just so interesting, and a good example of sometimes when I just talk about, like, you want to be careful about chasing all the hot CGC 9.8 comics. It's Darth Maul #2, first appearance of Cad Bane. So some recent sales on this one, and when I say recent, like in the last like few days here, $367 and $380. Now, however, I don't know too much about, you know, what has happened with Cad Bane. I'm pretty sure he made an appearance on the Book of Boba Fett show, and that was about 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago, there were a few sales. One $732, $775, and $662. Just 2 weeks ago, like, right as like Cad Bane was on TV and it was really hot and everyone was like having FOMO and went out and grabbed this one. $732, $775. Literally 2 weeks later, you wait just for that initial FOMO to sort of go away. $367, $380. So you saved yourself $200, $300. So just a really good example of a lot of times on a really hot book, you just don't want to like rush in there and you know, get it that day or two that you really think you want it because of some episode or show or movie made you think you wanted it. A lot of times, sometimes it'll just take like 2 weeks or so and it'll cool down. You'll get a better price. So a really great example on this. Darth Maul #2 in the 9.8 would have been a great one to buy sort of before this appearance and a super value. But, you know, once the appearance happens, it's really hard to get a good deal on any kind of these 9.8s during that kind of peak hype phase. All right, moving on. A Batman 608 in the second printing. A big key issue, a big Batman key issue that I really want, to be honest. This is one I do not have. Even in a raw, I don't have this one, which kind of bugs me as a Batman fan. A great, the classic Jim Lee Batman cover in this kind of lower printed second printing. Going in a 9.8 auction, $579. Yeah, this one's kind of, you know, maybe if you're super lucky, you get it a little closer to 500, but this is absolutely one going right around the kind of 550 to 600. And I absolutely, yeah, I think that's worth it. I think it's a kind of a no-brainer Batman key issue to buy. You know, maybe aim a little closer to 500 if you can try on a Batman 608 second print in a 9.8 white pages. Cool one. Next one is a Ghost Rider version 2, #1, first appearance of Dan Ketch. This is one that really kind of, you know, pre-COVID era, it was like $100. It was just like not even on a lot of people's radar. Now, one recently selling for just in the last few days here, $326 in an auction. We had saw a few of these go for kind of around $400, so I actually think closer to $300 is kind of the price target to aim for on this one. But yeah, this one really pre-virus was like $100, and it's kind of went from like 0 to hero, and has been a pretty great one to invest in. And yeah, you know what, right around $300. Definitely this one was like $400, you know, at virus era highs about a year ago, I would say. This one was like $400, $450, now seeing a little bit lower prices. Yeah, closer to $300 is a target to aim for on a Ghost Rider version 2, #1. The next one I do have, yes, a Star Wars #39. Yeah, classic Darth Vader cover and part 1 of Empire Strikes Back. A pretty solid no-brainer Darth Vader, you know, cover to absolutely just want and enjoy in the 9.8. I know kind of wanted this one as a big Darth Vader fan. Recent sale, $301.50. So pretty solid price for this one. You know, I purchased mine. It was right sort of when the comic book market was really heating up during COVID. And I grabbed mine in an auction. It was like $130, I believe, maybe $140. So this one's trending in price, kind of a go-to Darth Vader key issue. And Star Wars books a little, in general, I would think a little bit hot right now. Just with that kind of Book of Boba Fett show, and everyone's kind of anticipating a lot of Star Wars content moving forward. So maybe for this one you can aim kind of $250 to $275 in the future, but $301.50, not too bad for a Star Wars 39 in a 9.8 in the direct edition. So here's one that kind of a secondary key issue that's you know, showing a little bit of weakness, to be honest, and I think absolutely some of the high quality key issues are hanging in there, and the prices are kind of continuing to rise from that little pullback a few months ago. But a New Mutants #100 selling for $74.60. So first appearance of X-Force and Shatterstar in this one. Not like one of your main obvious key issues that you would think of. And you know, this one I sort of recommended on a video about a year ago as a good underfollowed one, and they were about $100, $125 a few went for. So I think a key issue like this where, you know, there's really no X-Force hype, and even X-Force probably doesn't have like the biggest cult of following or anything. Key issues in this kind of ilk are sort of pulling back a little bit, or just not really pulling back, just not really bouncing back from the sort of virus era pullback that we've had over the last year or so. So a New Mutants 100, $74.60. If you want a New Mutants #100, I think $75 is pretty much a great deal and a price target to aim for, though. Okay, next one is a pretty cool one. A Star Wars High Republic Adventures #2 in the 1 for 10 variant, so kind of the more rare variant. I was sort of on the lookout for this one. This one is a first full appearance of Marchion Ro, who's a pretty big villain in the High Republic era. And in the more rare variant, at first I really didn't like this cover at all, just kind of a bit of a plain Jane cover, but over time, I've sort of grown to like it a little bit. I'm not going to say it's like the greatest eye-appealing cover or anything like that, but this is kind of one to one as an underfollowed, kind of a bit of a speculative modern, but first full appearance of Marchion Ro. In the more rare variant, $117.50 this one went for, and I think that's pretty much a price target to aim for. The first print in this one will go for like $70 or $80, and that's heated up a little bit recently. That was one that you could have got for like $50 or $40 even, kind of 6 to 12 months ago on the first print of High Republic Adventures #2. But in this more rare variant, $117.50, pretty great deal. And first full appearance of Marchion Ro, that could be a spec that ends up working out. So in the same ilk, Star Wars High Republic #1 in the first print saw one sell in an auction for $96. Yeah, and this, again, kind of, these Star Wars books heating up just a little bit. This was one, like, you know, 4 to 6 months ago, you could have got for about $75 maybe. Now it's $96 in an auction. Anywhere under 100 is probably decent for a High Republic #1. A bunch of first appearances in that one, and, you know, a decent modern speculation, I would say. Next one's a cool one, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles '97. This is the variant cover for '97. This ends up being Jenica's first cover with the sort of yellow bandana Ninja Turtle costume on, or suit, I guess you want to call it. So a bit of a first cover appearance, I would say, on this one. Saw one sell in a 9.8 white pages for $80. Yeah, just a cool one that's under $100 that I have this is one on New Comic Book Day. I grabbed like, I think 5 or, I got quite a few of them, maybe even 5 or 10 of them. Just one I thought at cover price was really making sense. But yeah, these are starting to sell, you know, in the 9.8, and this variant cover being Jenica's first Ninja Turtles cover with her having, you know, the yellow bandana on and everything. Under 100, yeah, $80, pretty much a price target to aim for, maybe a little bit less than that. A few X-Men books. Uncanny XMen 282, first appearance of Bishop in cameo. But this is kind of, he's on the cover, so, you know, Bishop fans kind of go after this one. Selling for $299. And that's about the price I've saw them go for. Like, I looked back on a few videos and they had went for like $289 and $299, basically. So that is pretty much a bang-on, fair value. I saw an Uncanny XMen 266 in a newsstand edition sell. Fantastic book. You know, this one in a newsstand is so awesome. This one had a pretty decent centering on it as well, which is pretty tough to find a newsstand edition with a nice centering. $2,247 for an Uncanny XMen 266 newsstand. You know, not too bad of a deal. Usually the newsstands go for about double, and this is a little bit over double the direct editions. $2,247 for the newsstand. Saw a few directs sell for $950 and $1,075. So this is a good example, I would think, of like a high quality key issue where I believe I put it on that cooling down video where with the Edge of SpiderVerse #2 as well. And during that time you were seeing like some sales for like $750, $850, and I thought, hey, you want to get in there on a 266 now, like if you can get it for $750. And yeah, it seems like there's a little bit more demand coming on for a 266, and the directs are selling for $950 and $1,075 now. That's good to see a big key issue bouncing back. Here's another big key issue that's showing strength, and luckily do have one. An Amazing Spider-Man 252 saw a direct edition sell in an auction too for $2,000, $2,000 US. That is getting up there. That's pretty close to, like, I think the all-time highs on this one. I do think that's probably a bit of an overpay right now, $2,000. I think you're really patient on this one. You can get it for kind of $1,800 or so. But this is, you know, a huge key issue that is absolutely showing strength. Because, yeah, you know, I don't think I put this one on the cooling down video, but during that time, 3-4 months ago, this one, there was like 1,300, 1,400 type of sales in the direct edition. Now one going for 2,000. So yeah, I think good for the market to see like awesome no-brainer key issues, like, you know, showing strength basically. Yeah, really like continuing to go back up to, you know, those virus era highs, which I think the virus era highs on a 252 was like 2,200 or so. That was about a year ago, admittedly. An Amazing Spider-Man 265, first appearance of Silver Sable. Saw one of these selling at 9.8 for $499.95. This was one I did kind of recommend, as I think Silver Sable and Black Cat, you know, they kind of have some potential moving forward. They could easily just show up in like a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie looking awesome. And this one's like, I saw kind of few go for $450-ish, $499. right now, if Silver Sable shows up in a Tom Holland movie, this one's like $1,000 basically. So it's just a cool Amazing Spider-Man key to get in a 9.8 at a pretty fair price right now. $265 going for $499.95. And last one here. Pretty cool to see this one. An Amazing Spider-Man 361 in a newsstand edition 9.8. A few stiff sales on this one. This is absolutely one that I thought could probably maybe even pull back a little bit more from where it had already pulled back. There was a newsstand edition for this one on a Comic Link auction recently that sold for $750. And this was one, I'm pretty sure, like, during peak Let There Be Carnage, they were about $2,000. These Amazing Spider-Man 361s in a newsstand. So pulled back all the way to $750. I did recommend, like, you probably just want to get in there right now at $750 if you're a big Carnage fan. So a few sales on eBay just in the last week, $899 and $999.50. So this one I think had pulled back in the last few months. Now it's one of those big key issues that's kind of showing a little strength, and that's good to see. Yeah, I think I actually thought that, one sold for $700. Maybe this one gets kind of into the $650 range or something like that, but maybe not. Maybe that'll be right around kind of the low, and $899 selling for, and $999.50 one had went for as well. All right, that's the full list. I'll have a list in the description below with the prices, but all US dollars on the prices too, as always. Yeah, you know what? I think big, high-quality key issues are maybe even doing better than hanging in there. I think the prices are starting to go up. They're starting to trend back up to those all-time highs about a year ago during the virus era. And then there's, some secondary key issues that maybe aren't your obvious key issues languishing a bit. But overall, I would think a pretty healthy 9.8 market when you see those big key issues still doing quite well. All right, team, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. If you're liking my content, please subscribe and hit that bell, and I'll keep you updated on future videos.